York's classic rock, Q1043.
Lars Ulrich is with us here this morning on Q104.3, even though, to be completely honest, as I have the great opportunity to speak with Lars, it's not actually morning. It's actually
yes.
Late afternoon, early evening, and we are in, well, very interesting surroundings.
Yeah, I think these are called the bowels.
Well,
the bowels of Giant Stadium, or MetLife, MetLife as it's called.
Well, this is actually the room that we're in right now is the visiting NFC locker room.
Gotcha, Mom.
So this is where the Dallas Cowboys, the hated, dreaded Dallas Cowboys, or the
stay
even more
Switzerland on that one,
or the even more hated, dreaded Philadelphia Eagles.
I will stay Switzerland on that one.
Would be here. Well, it's a good. Well, it's a good thing to be Swiss on demand because you have fans in every state and all over the world. And Metallica has just become such a phenomenon. I mean, when you started the band, obviously you hoped for success. You know, members of every new band do. But the level of success that Metallica has attained, the commitment that your fans made to you years ago and continue to this very day, while at the same time acquiring new fans, has just been incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, honestly. Thank you for having me, by the way. 42 years in, it's pretty crazy, and it's still, I've said this 1,000 times, and people that follow us probably roll their eyes every time the following comes out of my mouth, but it still feels like we're just getting started, and it still feels like we are just trying to figure it all out, and we keep threatening at least the people around us that we may actually turn professional at some point soon. So it's but it's crazy, you know, the dedication and the support and you know, from the fans for over the years. And obviously it's not all the same fans. There's a whole revolving door, and especially in the wake of say a phenomenon like Stranger Things last summer, there's a whole new young generation that are showing up at all the shows, and I'm getting you know, recognized by, you know, 10-year-olds on the street. It's like, you know, and so it's pretty crazy that 42 years into this ride that's still happening, and it's pretty crazy. You know, the shows we have here this weekend at MetLife are the biggest shows we've ever played in the greater New York, Jersey, tri-state area. So the fact that keeps sort of continue to grow, and you know, certainly post-COVID, that there's this kind of excitement, admiration, appreciation for live music, and that everybody's out celebrating life and togetherness and so on is a crazy thing. And we just you know, for a lot of years, you know, in our 20s and 30s, we were full of piss and vinegar, as they say, and probably never slowed down long enough to take any of it in, as one doesn't when one just keeps cruising at that speed. But now, in our advanced ages here, even though we still feel, we still feel
your 42-year partner
that's
celebrates
right.
a big birthday.
That's right. I can't wrap my head around
James'
this.
birthday today.
James is turned 60 today, but it's amazing that that there's still this love for heavy music and for what we do. And you know, the difference now, you know, compared to say 20, 30 years ago, is that we slow down long enough to take it in and appreciate the love, appreciate the generosity of the fans and the interaction, and how you know, fortunate we all are to share in music and to be able to still feel that we're out here, and like I said before, we still connect with fans at the level that we're connecting, and we still have something, you know, music. We still have a level of sort of music and a level of I guess intensity, and can go up and feel that we're delivering the goods to the level that we, you know, still can share that and feel good about what we're doing.
Well, Lars, you were talking about younger people, young fans, you know, and Stranger Things.
Yes.
And that phenomenon. Well, you were 9 years old. You were 9 years old
Yeah.
when you went to the Deep Purple concert.
That's right.
That changed your life. Who did you go with?
I went with my dad,
Uh-huh.
and I went. There was a tennis tournament in Copenhagen, and the players were. This was Sunday, so tennis tournaments at that time, they may still do. It started on Monday. This was a Sunday night, I believe, and I think the players were given tickets or access to the gig. So went to the gig. This was in February '73. I was 9 years old and didn't know a lot about heavier music at the time, but was very impressed with the spectacle and the size of it, and Richie Blackmore up there throwing his guitar around, and Ian Gillan's high-pitched screams, and Ian Pace's ferocious drumming, and John Lord's keyboard, and Roger Glover's steady bass playing, and so on. And the next day after I got out of school, I went down to the local record store and I asked which records by Deep Purple they had, and they gave me Fireball. So Fireball was the first album that I bought of any consequence, and that was in '73. And still to this day, Deep Purple is one of the most significant forces in my sort of musical experience. But
Well, I can tell by the look on your face that your love for Deep Purple has never diminished.
And I can tell you that thanks to technology and YouTube and social media and all the rest of it, that the beauty of the music that you've grown up with, at least for me, but I know I'm not the only one, that the beauty of the music that you have grown up with now being as accessible as it is continuously, is something that you can go back and revisit over and over and over again. And for me, when I go back and revisit it, I always get something else out of it, something new, something unexpected. And I work out a lot in order to do what we're doing, and I find myself on a Peloton bike for 45 minutes about 7 days a week, and I spent a lot of time on YouTube watching videos and getting into all kinds of stuff.
And it'll be 16 hours later, and you're still going from
exactly.
one video to
But
another.
but I can tell you that I still do deep dives into Deep Purple. I still do. In the last few months, I'll put on, Made in Japan and check out the guitar solo in Child in Time for the 9,000th time or
But
whatever.
when you were talking about going to that concert, I'm sitting here right next to you looking at you. The 9-year-old boy was on your face. And now there are young kids who are experiencing
Yes.
you and your music for the first time. And I was thinking that maybe it was your knowledge of that gave you the idea, which is pretty unheard of, to sell reduced price tickets to your shows for kids.
Yes, we're trying to encourage kids to come and be a part of this, and we're trying to make it to do what we can to make it easier for everybody across all the different economic levels, and so obviously kids have a different reality, and I'm not saying we've cracked the problem or solved it, but we're trying, and we want, obviously, a Metallica concert, a Metallica experience to be something that should be reasonably attainable for everybody across all different ages and so on, all different demographics.
Yeah, but I've never heard of a children's
We're trying.
price
Listen,
for
we're
tickets
trying.
at a
I
rock
mean,
show.
we get some pushback here and there
I think it's a
against the
great idea.
conventions, but we're trying, and it has been pretty crazy. Just circling back, I'm not just sort of name checking the Stranger Things phenomena. It really has been crazy, but also, social media in general. Say in the last 5, 8, 10 years, how many more younger people are showing up at our gigs. And so when we play in Latin America, when we play in Europe, we play in the former Eastern Europe. There are in countries, you go to Brazil, you go to Argentina, you play Poland, Czech Republic, so on and so forth. There are so many young people, and a big part of it has to do with social media and 12, 14-year-olds getting a chance to go to concerts for the first time. So it's amazing to be able to sit here 42 years later and with James turning 60 today, who would have thought that we would be able to sit here and go, maybe a third to half of the audiences are seeing Metallica for the first time, or what, under 18, whatever statistic you want to put to it.
Who would have known that the 9-year-old little boy from Denmark inducted Deep Purple into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
That's right, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty incredible. And Lars, besides the fact that you have reduced price tickets
You're
for
going to
kids,
get me misty-eyed here.
you also, Lars, you also donate a portion of the price of each ticket during the entire tour to your foundation.
Yes, we do.
Which then grants 100% of the money that's raised.
Yes.
Money that comes from you, your bandmates, some friends of yours that you probably hit up for a few bucks, and then, of course, a percentage of the ticket sales.
Yes.
And you do an incredible amount of work with it. I mean, there's, emergency disaster relief and stuff like that.
Yep.
But it's the educational stuff that you do that I found really very interesting.
No, thank you. We're about 7 years into this endeavor.
You're working with 41 colleges now.
Yeah, so we're about 7 years into the endeavor of having our foundation, and we went public. We were giving back, but more under the radar up till 2016 when we launched our foundation.
It's called the All Within My Hands.
All Within My Hands, yes, and we're very proud of the work that we help facilitate, obviously through the donations of, like you're saying, from ticket buying public, and from our benefits where people come and write checks and bid on things and so on. But 100% of every dollar that comes in goes back out. We take care of all the overhead and all the expenses. That's our part. That's our contribution to that. We work with disaster relief, you say, but the core of the organization is education in blue collar trades. Something that I would say respectfully maybe gets overlooked, is maybe not as sexy or as fun.
Well, they're good jobs.
for a lot of
they're good jobs. They pay well, and
exactly.
It's important. The work is important.
I was going to say, so
try to make the world go round and operate without people who know how to do things.
And so my point was that for a lot of charities, doing blue collar stuff is maybe not something that a lot of people get involved in, and we saw an opening there because we feel that so many of our fans come from that background and can relate to that part of it. And so we are very proud of the work that our whole organization is doing and the partners that we have out there, and it's incredible the lives that it touch and the difference that it makes in people's lives. And it's great that and I'm so proud of the fact that the heavy metal community, the hard rock community, who sometimes is not maybe that appreciated for what it does when it bonds together. And I think it's great that the hard rockers everywhere can roll up their sleeves and get involved in their own communities and get involved with things like our organization and really make a difference to people like everybody that's at the receiving end of these blue-collar scholarships.
Lars Ulrich is with us on Q104.3, and we'll be right back. Lars, it's here. The day is here. Well, it's actually tomorrow.
Yes.
But still, less than 24 hours from now, as we speak, here at MetLife Stadium, the crowd will be here in attendance. The first of the supporting acts will be preparing to go on stage. And after months and months and months of preparation, of hard work, of anticipation, it all begins. The big tour.
Here we go. Strap yourselves in.
And it starts here.
It starts right here
in our metropolitan area. The
That's
M72 World Tour.
That's right. Yeah. So we're starting in America. We've just had a couple 4 or 5 weeks off. We were in Europe. Did a bunch of stuff in Europe for about 3 months since April. But the North American run starts right here in the metropolitan area, as you say.
What an unusual idea and a great one, doing 2 shows in
yes.
each city with distinct set lists.
Yes.
Lists, and also the supporting and opening acts. That's also
being different. Everything each night is different from the set list. 100% different each night. The support acts 100% different. Everything that's going on, all around, like even the house music.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to hear the same house music song, on either night. The only thing that's the same from night to night musically is our intro tape. And there was a quick debate about whether we should even change our intro tape, but we come out to an AC/DC song called "It's a Long Way to the Top," which has been our sort of walk-on music for a couple of decades, and then Ennio Morricone's "Ecstasy of Gold," and those two are the same from each night, simply for one reason only, which is that we figured that if we got a different walk-on song, maybe people that are up buying drinks or getting shirts or going to the bathroom or hanging out with their friends
wouldn't know that you were coming.
Wouldn't know that we were coming on. So we figured that maybe it would be a disservice to our fans if all of a sudden there was a different walk-on song.
Well, Lars,
on evening two, and people would miss the
Lars,
first 20 minutes.
With the supporting acts,
yes,
often audiences are unappreciative of supporting acts. Often audiences don't even bother taking their seats while the supporting acts are there. You have on your tour supporting acts that have their own fan bases and that can easily fill arenas as headliners. That's also something that's very unusual.
We try. Everybody that's playing with us the next couple days are friends of ours. Obviously, we've known the boys in Pantera for about 400 years. And we're so grateful that they're out here. And, Mammoth, Wolfgang Van Halen's project, he was with us in Europe for a couple of months. Incredible to have him out. And obviously, there's no end to the legacy that he represents. So we try to have people that we have relationships with, people that we respect, people that we feel proud to share with our fans and with our audiences. And it's really exciting to have different support acts on each day, and like I said, give our fans an opportunity to have two completely different shows. It goes back to some festivals. The idea goes back to some festivals from a couple, 4 years ago, right? It was actually supposed to be in the summer, the first summer of the pandemic in 20. We agreed to do about half a dozen festivals with the idea that we would bookend Friday and Sunday, and so we would play a headline set on Friday and a headline set on Sunday. That would be two different nights, and then somebody else playing on Saturday, and that would be the festival. And then obviously the pandemic came, and then that whole thing got thrown.
And people who can't see you live on this tour will have an opportunity to see you in movie theaters around the country.
That's right, yeah.
It'll be the show from Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium.
That's right, yeah.
And we have some tickets we're going to give away now.
Well, very cool,
as a matter of fact, the 25th caller.
The 25th caller?
Yeah, the 25th caller at
Does that mean somebody's counting the first 24?
Yes, they do.
They just get hung up on?
Brandon will be counting. Brandon will be counting. It's 888-872-1043. Call us right now.
I love it. Old school.
We have another pair for the
Well,
live broadcast. So they'll be experiencing the show live as it's happening.
That's incredible.
Except they'll be in an air-conditioned theater.
Yeah.
And also our winner will qualify for the grand prize drawing, which takes place in about half an hour, and that will be tickets to see Metallica.
That's right.
Right here at
Thank
MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to mention
sir.
to you before they take you on to wherever it is that you're going next. I know you have a rehearsal tonight, don't you?
Yes, we have. We've been rehearsing for the last couple days here, and we're actually sound checking tonight also. So
that's the big one. There are a lot of trucks parked out in the parking lot. You employ a lot of people. You are responsible for a lot of families.
There are some incredible
and their livelihoods.
There are a lot of people. Yes,
you start a band with a few people. And then later on down the road, hundreds of families depend upon you for their livelihood.
Yeah, no, it's there are so many great people out here giving their time and helping out. And I believe Beyonce was in here playing a few shows last weekend. So they have what's called an accelerated load-in, something like that. So I think the crews have been working like overtime, and so there's been a lot of great people here from Monday. I think we took over the venue Monday afternoon, Monday evening, and so it's been full force, and it's just crazy. They've been getting all this stuff up in about 3 days.
Well, Lars, founder, master drummer of Metallica. The British do it a little differently. Maybe there's a little more pomp and circumstance in their world, but you're a Danish knight.
Yes. Yeah, that will.
You are.
Yes.
You're a knight.
Yeah,
the Queen of Denmark.
Yes, I was knighted
in 2017. Was it?
Yes, about 5-6 years ago. Was very surprised, very honored.
It was the biggest honor that your native country could give you.
It's very much appreciated, and it's who would have thought that the snot-nosed, disenfranchised, heavy metal kid trying to fit in and figure it all out would end up in that kind of situation. So one of the honor.
It must have been a moment of incredible pride.
Yes, I was completely caught off guard because it was. I had been asked by the Royal Danish Court whether if this was bestowed upon me, whether I would accept it, and I said yes. But I didn't really think much more about it. And I was at a dinner with the Crown Prince of Denmark, Crown Prince Frederik, and it all of a sudden, after the main course, there was about 100 people there, all Danes of notoriety, and he started talking about a specific Dane of notoriety. I'm sitting there going like, who's he talking about?
He was talking about you.
Yeah, and then a couple 5 minutes into the speech, I realized he was talking about me, and I was
talking about you
ready
and your
to
artistic contributions to the
ready
world.
to hide under the table,
and your philanthropic and charitable
yes,
activities.
So it was very, very appreciated, totally unexpected. But as a Dane who flies the Danish flag proudly all over the world, it was a big honor. So thank you for
thank you for honoring us with your presence
here.
Thank
you for coming out here, and thank you for your time. And
thank
you for giving some tickets away.
And have fun. Have fun.
Thank you. The whole weekend is about fun. So we got 2 different shows and 4 different support acts and all kinds of crazy shenanigans. So thank you for your support, and we'll see everybody out here this weekend.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.